Here are the top stories for today, June 5, 2019. President Duterte calls on Filipino Muslims to be instruments of love and service as the Islamic community celebrates Eid al-Fitr. Congress passes an amended measure raising the excise tax on tobacco products. Inflation hits 3.2% in May following an increase in prices of food and utilities. And the Philippine Sports Commission responds to Olympic weightlifter Diaz's call to support her bid at the Tokyo Olympics. Good day, I'm Bench Bondok. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story, the Philippines on Wednesday joined the rest of the Islamic world in celebrating Eid al-Fitr, the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Filipino Muslims gathered at important Islamic landmarks such as the Manila Golden Mosque to pray and greet the end of Ramadan. In his Eid al-Fitr message, President Rodrigo Duterte described the occasion as one that binds the Muslim community together. He said the occasion also allows them to demonstrate the virtues of Islamic faith in accordance with the teachings of Allah through the Quran. The President enjoined Muslim Filipinos to deepen their role as instruments of love, sacrifice, respect, and selfless service. He also urged them to remain as the government's partner in promoting peace and understanding. Duterte has declared June 5 a regular holiday to give the whole nation full opportunity to observe Eid al-Fitr. In other news, Malacanang on Tuesday defended President Duterte from backlash following the chief executive's remark that he used to be gay in his younger years. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said he saw nothing wrong with Duterte admitting that he changed his sexual orientation. Panelo noted that the president has taken an effort not to offend the LGBT community and he is always conscious on not offending their sensibilities. During the 2016 presidential campaign period, Duterte expressed openness to the idea of allowing same-sex marriage. About a year later, the president withdrew his support for same-sex marriage, saying it would violate the law. However, his former spokesperson Harry Roque said Duterte is in favor of legalizing civil union for same-sex couples. President Duterte has named retired Army General Ricardo Morales as member of the Board of Trustees of the Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System or MWSS. Morales, whose term will last until June 30, replaces MWSS Administrator Reynaldo Velasco. Velasco was earlier named MWSS Board Chairperson. Morales' appointment came after Duterte threatened to replace MWSS officials for failing to address the water shortage that hit some parts of Metro Manila last March. Duterte also chastised them for failing to provide immediate solutions to prevent the country's water supply from depleting. Velasco said he is willing to resign should the water shortage problem in Metro Manila persist. The House of Representatives on Tuesday adopted the Senate version of the measure that aims to raise the excise tax on tobacco products. The House concurred with Senate Bill 2233 and adopted the same as an amendment to House Bill 8677. Senate Bill 2233 proposes a staggered increase in the excise tax per cigarette pack from 2020 to 2023 with a 5% annual increase thereafter. Congress can now immediately transmit the measure to Malacanang for President Rodrigo Duterte's signature. The rates adopted by the Senate were earlier proposed by Congressman Joey Salceda in 2016. Salceda says from these rates, the expected revenues from 2020 to 2024 is a total of 126.4 billion pesos. Meanwhile, the funding requirement for universal health care in the same period amounts to a total of 1.507 trillion pesos. The PNP starts investigating the names dropped by Peter Jomel Advincula alias Bicoy. Meanwhile, over 500 foreign nationals lose their working visas. More on this and other news around the metro from Joyce Cudis.
The Philippine National Police is looking into the allegations of Peter Jomel Advincula alias Bicoy on the alleged ouster plot against President Rodrigo Duterte. The lead figure of the anti-Duterte Bicoy videos had named in a sworn affidavit several personalities allegedly involved in the plot, such as Lingian Dagupan Archbishop Socrates Villegas, a certain Father Robert, Caloocan Bishop Pablo Virgilio David, and former Education Secretary Armin Luistro. Advincula claimed he met with these people on separate occasions to discuss how to spread information linking President Duterte to illegal drugs. PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde said they will summon the named personalities to get their statements. Meanwhile, the Commission on Higher Education launched on Tuesday the UP Manila Drugs Abuse Research Laboratory in response to the current problem of drug use and abuse in the country. The laboratory introduces a drug testing kit which can identify more than 100 illegal drugs. The authorities said they expect to complete the drug testing kit in 2 years. In other news, the Bureau of Immigration reported the cancellation of working visas of 528 foreign nationals employed by several companies in Metro Manila. Commissioner Jaime Morentes said these foreign employees, majority were Indians and Chinese, submitted fake alien employment permits. Morente directed the Bureau's Intelligence Division to gather evidence against 6 companies for supposedly employing foreign employees with fake papers. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joyce Cudis.
Still to come, inflation hits 3.2% in May following an increase in prices of food and utilities. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente.
May 13, Lunes. Bumoto sa Davao si Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte para sa 2019 midterm election. May 21, Martes, Malacanang. Mainit na sinalubong ng Pangulo ang bagong talagang ambassador ng Thailand sa Pilipinas na si Ambassador Vasin Ruang Pratip Saeng at tinanggap ang credentials nito. Nag-courtesy call din sa kanya ang mga opisyal ng Toyota Dealers Association of the Philippines. May 26, Linggo, Baguio City. Pinangunahan ng Commander-in-Chief ang commencement exercises ng PMA Mabalasi Class of 2019 at pinaalalahanan ang mga bagong military officers.
Be a good soldier who will serve the Constitution, protect the people, secure our sovereignty, and preserve the integrity of our national territory. Serve your country well. Die for your country if needs be. Remember the young Filipinos yet to come, the children and those who are now studying. Huwag mong kalimutan ninyo yan.
Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar at ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
The Food and Drug Administration on Tuesday released the names of vinegar brands found to contain synthetic acetic acid. These brands include Sure-Buy Cane Vinegar, Tentay Pinoy Style Vinegar, Tentay Premium Vinegar, Tentay Vinegar Sukang Tunay Asim, and the Chef's Flavor Vinegar. FDA, however, stressed that the presence of synthetic acetic acid in vinegar is not a safety issue and does not pose any health risk to consumers, as this only means that the vinegar is of substandard quality. But since the 5 identified vinegars were found to contain synthetic acetic acid and deemed to be adulterated, FDA said these must not be sold to the public. Agriculture Secretary Emmanuel Piñol earlier directed the Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries Standards to set norms for vinegar manufacturing. Ride-sharing firm Grab Philippines will deactivate at least 8,000 of its drivers who do not have provisional authority from the LTFRB by June 10. Grab Philippines President Brian Koo said the company acted in good faith when it trusted that its partners would comply with the timeline set by the LTFRB. He said while the decision will reduce the number of vehicles servicing commuters, they are still obligated to enforce the LTFRB's regulations. Grab anticipates new drivers to apply for 10,000 new slots starting June 10. Grab has 45,000 active Transportation Network Vehicle Service or TNVS drivers on its platform. Inflation in May is at 3.2% based on the data released by the Philippine Statistics Authority on Wednesday. Last month's inflation picked up slightly from the 3% in April, but was lower than the 4.6% recorded in May 2018. The PSA said the faster rate was brought by an increase in prices of food and utilities. The inflation rate remained within the target range of 2.8 to 3.6% set by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The BSP expects the full-year rate to hit 2.9%. The Ilocos Norte government on Monday urged all concerned local government units to intensify information and education campaign on HIV/AIDS in local communities. The Sangguniang Panlalawigan passed a draft resolution which enjoined the Communications and Media Office in coordination with LGUs and the Provincial Health Office to take the lead in the campaign against the prevention of HIV/AIDS. As of December 2018, there have been a total of 1,351 reported cases of HIV/AIDS in the region with an average of 21 cases per month. Health experts warn against unprotected sex, including the ABCDEs of preventing HIV: A for abstinence, B for being mutually faithful, C for the use of condoms, D for avoiding the use of drugs and avoiding the use of syringes, and E for the importance of being educated on HIV. Over 49.5 million pesos worth of rice and other crops in Antique have been destroyed due to the El Nino phenomenon. The Office of the Provincial Agriculturist of Antique reported on Tuesday that the prolonged dry spell has damaged about 36 million pesos worth of rice crop in 12 municipalities in the province. Damage on other crops such as corn, peanut, mung bean, and vegetables as well as fisheries reached some 13.4 million pesos. Over 3,000 farmers were affected by the lack of water for their rice paddies. In spite of the previous forecast of the El Nino, the farmers still planted rice during the months of March, April, and May. Out of the 5,308 hectares that were planted, 3% located in the 12 municipalities reported damages in different stages from vegetative to reproductive. Farmers in these municipalities will be the priority in the distribution of seeds from the Department of Agriculture. Government scholars in Ilocos Norte receive their stipends for this school year. Meanwhile, the PNP intensifies its anti-bullying drive in Region 8. More on these and other news from the provinces from Joyce Cudis.
In Ilocos Norte, a total of 643 scholars received their stipends on Monday at the Centennial Arena in Laoag City. Governor-elect Matthew Joseph Manotoc personally handed the Cash Assistance Fund, which ranges from 2,250 to 3,500 pesos per month for each government scholar. In his short speech, Manotoc lauded the scholars for their great contribution in the community, academics, and sports to the province. The Ilocos Norte government allocates about 30 million pesos as education assistance to poor but deserving students yearly. Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police in Eastern Visayas is stepping up its campaign against bullying in schools. PNP Eastern Visayas Deputy Regional Director Ariel Arcenas said they have been asking students to refrain from bullying others, while those who experience bullying are told to report the incident to their teachers, policemen, parents, or guardians. The PNP will be handing out pamphlets within school grounds to learners as part of the anti-bullying campaign. He urged school authorities to act on bullying complaints and, if necessary, inform the local police for appropriate action. In Maguindanao, military and tourism officials freed on Monday a captured oriental darter, one of the endangered bird species, back to the wild. The marshland in General Salipan Cape and Daton has been transformed by the 33rd Infantry Battalion into a bird-watching area after learning that the marshland had been an endangered bird sanctuary. The area used to be the bailiwick of the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joyce Cudis.
Up next, Screen actor and reservist Mateo Guidicelli begins his 30-day training with the Scout Rangers. And the Philippine Sports Commission responds to Olympic weightlifter Hidilyn Diaz's call to support her bid at the Tokyo Olympics. Back after a quick break, stay with the PNA Newsroom.
Ang Japan ang isa sa pinakamalaking trading partner ng Pilipinas. Nandito si Pangulong Duterte sa Tokyo, Japan para dumalo sa Nikkei Conference on the Future of Asia at para sa bilateral meeting nila ni Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Bukod dito, nakipagpulong din ang Pangulo sa mga negosyanteng Hapon para hikayatin pa silang mamuhunan sa Pilipinas. Nasa mahigit 20 business agreements ang nilagdaan dito at inaasahang 300 bilyong piso ang halaga ng investment na maihuwi ng Pangulo mula sa biyaheng ito. Mula sa investment pledges na ito, nasa 80,000 naman ang mga mabibigay na trabaho para sa mga kapwa nating Pilipino.
In the next few years, we anticipate increased trade and investment flows because of the strong momentum generated by decades of deep economic cooperation. More than build, let us work together to grow our economy. Before I make my last statement, may I just assure you that during my time, I said there will be no corruption. And every Japanese investor in my country, however small or however big, I can assure you that if there is any complaint regarding hindrances, obstruction, or outright corruption, let me know. And you can ask an audience with me in 24 hours, and I will talk to you. And just let me know what your problem is, and we will kill that problem. I place my honor in what we promise to our partners, especially the Japanese and the Japanese people.
Screen actor and Philippine Army reservist and probationary 2nd Lieutenant Mateo Guidicelli formally started his 30-day leadership development course at the 1st Scout Ranger Regiment, Camp Texon, Bulacan, Tuesday. Army spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Ramon Zagala said the yearly training is conducted to sharpen the leadership skills of Army officers and graduating cadets of the Philippine Military Academy. Guidicelli volunteered in the Army Reserve Force this year and has since been campaigning for more volunteers to become reservists themselves. He has also visited Maguindanao and the Davao region as a peace ambassador to inspire the youth to support the government's peace initiatives, especially with the revival of the Reserve Officer Training Corps. Veteran actor Robin Padilla has also recently expressed his desire to join the Army Reserve Force. A proposed bill is now pending in Congress to make the Reserve Officers Training Corps, or ROTC, a mandatory course for grades 11 and 12 to train and prepare the youth in the defense of the country and to assist during national emergencies and natural calamities. Moving on to our top global stories, New Zealand is seeking to tax Facebook, Google, Uber, and Airbnb through a digital services tax. The digital services tax, or widely known as Facebook tax, was first announced by Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern in February. She says her government would release a discussion document canvassing the possible new tax upon global digital giants which do substantial business in New Zealand but pay no tax on income or revenues, such as Facebook, YouTube, and eBay. Finance Minister Grant Robertson and Revenue Minister Stuart Nash proposed on Tuesday two broad options to ensure offshore digital companies no longer enjoy tax breaks which are not available to local businesses. However, the tax faces stiff opposition from critics, saying such a tax could invite retaliation and backfire on New Zealand exporters. In sports, the Philippine Basketball Association ordered the indefinite suspension of Phoenix forward Calvin Abueva plus a 70,000 peso fine for his conduct during the past two games of the Fuel Masters. According to the PBA, Abueva was ordered to pay 20,000 pesos after he made an obscene gesture towards Ray Parks Jr.'s girlfriend and her companions. He was also fined an additional 50,000 pesos for a flagrant foul against Terrence Jones in the Fuel Masters game against the TNT Katropa. However, Jones was also fined for hitting Abueva in his crotch and physically contacting an official. Others are also penalized, such as Phoenix head coach Louis Alas, who was fined and suspended for 2 games for flagrant misconduct and for issuing statements against the league. Phoenix's Rob Dozier and Jason Perkins were also fined for their technical foul and verbal altercation. Also penalized were TNT's Anthony and David Semerad, Jason Castro, and assistant manager Miguel Fernandez. Bing Oliva, the referee who missed to call a foul on Jones, was suspended for 10 playing game days. Staying with sports, Philippine Sports Commission Chairman Butch Ramirez on Tuesday clarified that the government's sports arm has yet to miss on its commitment to Rio Olympics silver medalist Heidelin Diaz. This after Diaz took to Instagram a call for financial support to sustain her bid in the next Olympiad in Tokyo next year. Ramirez said Diaz is among the highest paid national athletes as far as allowances are concerned, and that the PSC already spent 4.5 million pesos for her training. Ramirez also said the Philippine Air Force, where Diaz is an enlisted personnel, is also supporting her, as well as some other private companies. Ramirez said he is open for a dialogue with Diaz to finally settle and address her concern. Farmers in Marawi are assured of continuous assistance as they were given farming facilities and equipment. Task Force Bangon Marawi and the local government ensures that agrarian reform beneficiaries can continue with their lives in the province. Sweet Lukman has the story.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Agrarian Reform of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, in coordination with the Task Force Bangon Marawi, has distributed farm inputs to the city's 9 agrarian reform communities, benefiting the agrarian reform beneficiaries as well as internally displaced persons. Engineer Mesug Unda, Provincial Agrarian Reform Officer of the Department of Agrarian Reform in Lanao del Sur, said the distribution of farm inputs would continue to benefit some 2,250 farmers. There are 1,880 beneficiaries for vegetable seeds, 300 for corn seeds, and 150 for rice seeds, and all of them will receive organic fertilizer, Unda disclosed. The World Food Program will also conduct validation of beneficiaries through Catanor, who will be part of its cash-based transfer program. The qualified beneficiaries will receive 2,000 pesos cash for land preparation, 2,000 when they start planting, and another 2,000 during harvest time.
Nagsimula kami kahapon sa Barangay Delay West, Delay Proper at saka sa Malimono.
The Provincial Agrarian Officer also shared that common service facilities like farm tractor, insecticides, and pesticides would also be provided to the farmers.
Maganda yun kasi nakadagdag yun sa namin, pangkabuhayan namin. Nakatipid kami ng pambili ng mga tulad ng mga fertilizer.
The 9 ARC barangays include Kabasaran, Dulay Proper, Dulay West, Malimono, Gimba, Papandayan, Kanyogan, Sugod, Patani, and Kilala. For PNA Newsroom, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
Weather Bureau Pagasa said the Intertropical Convergence Zone or ITCZ affecting Palawan, the Visayas, and Mindanao brings cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms over these areas, while the rest of Luzon experienced partly cloudy to cloudy skies with rain showers caused by localized thunderstorms. Let's now check out the forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. President Duterte calls on Filipino Muslims to be instruments of love and service as the Islamic community celebrates Eid al-Fitr. Congress passes an amended measure raising the excise tax on tobacco products. Inflation hits 3.2% in May following an increase in prices of food and utilities. And the Philippine Sports Commission responds to Olympic weightlifter Diaz's call to support her bid at the Tokyo Olympics. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Bench Bondok. Good day.